So number one, they recognized the opportunity of this country. A lot of these people would come from places where they slept on dirt floors. They were ruled by communism. They were threatened with death all the time. They were even possibly attempted extermination of their cultures. You know, these people had it tough. And when they got here and they had freedom and they could be whatever they wanted, they buckled down. To them, from what they had been through to what they could be, they could see it real close. We here in America, maybe we don't value that freedom as much as someone who comes from a different place. Number two, they were willing to sacrifice at way higher levels than we were willing to sacrifice. I remember the story of an Asian person who came over and they began working in the food court in the mall. And then at night, instead of going home to an apartment, they didn't have an apartment. They would get in the drawers in the cabinets and be real quiet until the whole mall would be locked up. And then they would get out and they would eat the leftover coffee, they would eat the leftover donuts, they would clean up, they would shower in the sink with towels, and they would sleep on the floor, and they would save every single penny until they bought that store. I don't know a lot of Americans willing to sacrifice at that level, and even I wasn't willing to sacrifice at that level. But my eyes were opened to the fact that the reason why I wasn't being successful was I was not willing to sacrifice nearly to the level that it would take, and I made a resolve to sacrifice more and to live with less until I got there. And I learned that from that book. I actually started to think like an immigrant. So how does this relate to being a successful real estate investor? There has to be sacrifices to be successful at anything, whether you're a real estate investor or a car mechanic or a car salesman. It doesn't matter. To be the top of your field, to put away the money, to own your own shop, to buy what it is you need to be the boss and be the head of everything, it takes sacrifice. That's exactly what those people did when they slept on the floor. They sacrificed any luxuries today until they owned that store. They could pay for it cash. I don't think any of us are going to sleep on the floors and do what they did, but just know it takes sacrifice to get there. Number two, keep your overhead low, because starting a business is usually a tenuous task at first. You don't start off making $1 million. You don't start off making much at all. You got to keep your overhead low so when it's time to take a chance or time to do something, you're not threatened by the bills that are coming at the end of the month. And you can go ahead and take some chances and do some things that you need to do. It takes a long time to get a business off the ground sometimes, and you want to give yourself a fighting chance. Keeping your overhead low will help you. Also, don't forget, you're going to have to roll some of the money you make back in. So if you have a big strike or get lucky early, don't go throw a big party and go buy a new boat. Just hang on to your money. You're going to have to roll some of it back in. Buy some things that you need. Pay off your office or pay off your office equipment. Do something, but use that money that you make to solidify your position in the industry that you're in. Use it to fortify what you've got going for you.